Okay, let's call the UW Extension meeting to order on October 7th, 8:30 a.m. 3 members present. Mr. Peisler is absent.
Can I ask a question about, or is he not?
I haven't, usually when he's not going to be here, he calls me, but I haven't heard from him this week.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I screwed up there twice, and that's rare for me, but, I mean, I'm just asking because if there's a different time that might be more convenient for him, maybe you could ask him.
sure, we'll be glad to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd move to approve the agenda as it was put together.
Okay.
I'll second.
Moved by Chuck, seconded by Gary to adopt the agenda. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Agenda is adopted. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes from September 2nd and September 9th as published.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Moved by Gary, seconded by Chuck. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Public input. I see no one from the public here. Educator reports. Everybody should have reports from Erica, Renee, and Jill. Anyone have any questions or comments regarding the reports? Other than the fact that I see Erica is now doing triple duty instead of just working for.
Yeah, I guess I'm concerned about that.
Yeah.
But first of all, congratulations, Erica. Again, winning, state awards are nice and things like that, but when it goes national, I think that's something that really, I think we need to toot the horn a little bit. And I'm not sure how we do this. I know these minutes go out to every one of the supervisors all the time, but I'll be honest, okay? I've had times where I don't read them all the time myself, and I'm sure, that not all of the supervisors read them all the time. And I'm wondering here's why I'm really concerned about this. I believe that there is a movement around the state from administrative coordinators, county administrators, county executives, are asking the question, where is the value added for UW Extension? Don't throw anything at me, please. I think you all know that I'm a firm believer in extension. But they're saying things like, well, are the taxpayers getting their money's worth? And I actually, when I first heard this, I was shocked. I can't believe that. Of all of the departments, excuse me, of all of the departments in the county, I think the extension helps so many different people. I mean, I almost equate them with human services. I mean, for all of the people that they help, and a lot of the people that extension helps are people that are disadvantaged. Renee, the work that you do in your area, our youth, crying out loud. What's more important than our youth, for Jill? And the biggest thing we have in this county is agriculture. I don't understand that. So I'm frustrated. I would like some ideas as far as how we could, get on the, get on the bandwagon. I don't know, get more out there to make at least our county board supervisors in this county definitely understand that there is an awful lot of good that comes out of this department, and that it is extremely important that we keep funding this department at the highest level that we can. I mean, we all don't want to overpay in taxes. I understand that. And, we got to be judicious about it. But I think we could do a little bit more. And I don't know if I'm going to make a suggestion here. I don't know, Judy, if you wanted to come to a county board meeting to kind of talk up some of these things that have been done by at least our people here, and impress on our board the thing like, now Erica's got to work all northeastern Wisconsin. I mean, this is, and what that does for our citizens. I mean, if we're having our agents work in other counties, I mean, I understand we're trying to, get the best bang for the buck in taxes and everything else. But, and I understand the hiring freezes and those things. But they also have to understand that when we have our agents working in other counties, they're not here in this county helping our people. And that's, I think, the most important part. I'll shut up. Oh, one other thing. I did see in our latest Wisconsin Counties magazine, they had the legislative agenda that's come out. And it is in here that one of their agenda items in county organization and personnel, seek additional state and federal funding for cooperative extension to ensure sufficient staffing and county educators. So at least Wisconsin Counties understands we have that organization working for us.
I don't know if it's the large counties like Brown, Dane, those counties that, to me, don't seem to maybe not get as much benefit per capita as smaller counties do. If they're the ones making the noise, I don't know.
Definitely not Brown County. Our county executive and county board are super supportive. Actually, our budget for our tax levy for next year is going up significantly. So Brown County truly values what extension does. We do have a larger staff, but we have a lot of external funding, so we can have more educators. So I think that makes a difference. Do you want me to, can I respond to the question about the additional extension educators, or do you want me to wait? I can provide a little detail.
We can do it. Just other than that, as far as the extension, I think that the county partners with UW Extension forever, I guess, and I've been dealing with UW Extension at the local level for 30 some years using various programs that are available. So and I've been saying this for years that if any state agency works, it's the UW Extension.
Yeah.
So I don't know how people can say that they need to not fund this. So if you want to touch on that.
So there was interest 2 years ago in adding some extension educators focused on agriculture, and that did not get through the state legislature. But interim UW system president Tommy Thompson is very supportive of adding up to 20 additional extension educators, whether they're regional, county. I really haven't figured out what that's going to look like. But there seems to be support with various parts of the state to see if they can get additional agricultural educators placed around the state. So we may need you at some point to send a letter of support to your local legislators in Madison, stating that you are very supportive of adding additional agricultural educators.
Okay.
Or making, phone calls or if you see them out in public, to have those conversations with them. But I think that's what we didn't have the last time that this came up, was that counties, commodity groups, that sort of thing, it came up really fast and the extension wasn't very organized for it. I think now is the time. We've got the capability, if this continues to go through the system, and it's early because, the state legislature won't meet until early 2021, but to be ready that if this does start getting some momentum, that if your group wants to, or your committee wants to write a letter, if you want to have conversations, whatever it is, that would be great. And I'm not in the Wisconsin Counties Association, my understanding is also supportive of this. So, but we will need some help from constituents and elected officials like the three of you to get this pushed so that we can get more extension educators. We also have a number of retirements and educators leaving. I think, Erica, are we going to be up to 9 or 10 county ag agent vacancies? Because there's 2 more that are leaving now. So it's either 9 or 10. So yes, so we do need to increase that number, but we are going to need some help to do that. So if you're willing to, and I can keep you apprised of that, Erica can too, Jill and Renee, that, we may need your help. And we certainly will talk to, can talk to other counties as well. But if Wisconsin Counties Association gets back of it too, that will help.
Well, I will talk to Joel. I'll talk to Joel Kitchens. I mean, I talk to him every once in a while. He calls me sometimes. And he's been very supportive of especially the agriculture thing because of our water situation in northeastern Wisconsin and everything. So I think he understands how important the ag agent is in our counties, or at least in these 2 counties. So that's, I think he would be definitely on that. Andre Jacques, our senator, I've had interactions with Andre, but not as many or as often as I would like. But I don't know. I'll contact him too.
But let's wait and get a little bit more information, and probably a little bit closer to the end of the year or early 2021 to have those conversations, to send a letter, whatever the Wisconsin Counties Association wants to do to support them and their efforts as well. But yes, it definitely is a need to get additional extension ag educators in the state. And it sounds like, am I correct, Erica, that some of them might deal with environmental issues, so possibly water and some of that, as well as similar to the work that Erica's doing with our farms. Do you have any other information about this? You may know more.
I have not had any communication at all
Okay.
from Madison, none.
Okay.
I think when we get close to the appropriate time or whatever we would need, probably a resolution from the county board would be appropriate to address this issue.
That would be great to get a resolution from them. So thank you for your interest and support to get additional, hopefully funding for additional agricultural educators.
Any other questions or discussion on the educator reports?
See, it's 4-H week, am I correct?
It is National 4-H Week. You've got it. Yeah, so it's National 4-H Week this week, and actually we have some really fun things going on. So one of the things that our Leaders Association board decided to fund was yard signs for Kewaunee County. So those came in yesterday. They arrived at one of our volunteers' houses for placement all over the county. So I would love to get some to all of you. They say we support Kewaunee County 4-H. And so you'll see those all around Kewaunee County. So that's one of our big pushes for this week, because we wanted people in our community to see how strong 4-H is and how strong 4-H is supported. So that was one of the things our board felt really strongly about. So they made sure every family in the county will have access to them, along with different community supporters. So if any of you would like a yard sign, let me know. I'd be glad to get you one. The other really amazing thing that happened is earlier this year, together with a retired colleague, I wrote an application for 2 of our volunteers, Linda and Joe Prebeck, for the Wisconsin 4-H Hall of Fame, and they were in fact accepted and were inducted into the Hall of Fame for this year. So Kewaunee County's very own Wisconsin 4-H Hall of Fame inductees, 2 of them are from right here in Kewaunee County. They are only the 2nd and 3rd from Kewaunee County to ever be inducted into the Wisconsin 4-H Hall of Fame, and they are volunteers who have dedicated over 40 years of service to Kewaunee County and the state of Wisconsin through our state 4-H horse program. And they were actually featured on Monday on the Larry Mueller show, so on Wisconsin Public Radio, so you were able to tune in. They were asked to be on that as well. So one of the things I would love to do is next month get them in to actually talk with all of you, because they have such an important message about the 4-H program and the things that have impacted them as volunteers, but then also the impact that they have seen on youth throughout the years in Kewaunee County and throughout the state. They do an amazing job of talking about the impacts that they've seen of the life skills that youth have taken from being a part of this and then gained, but then also the impact that it has on volunteers from volunteering for the program. So if you are willing, I would love to have them on Zoom come in and talk to the committee next month during our Ag and Extension Committee meeting if they're available. Is that okay with all of you?
Sure, be good.
And then I know Judy had mentioned as well that maybe it would be because this is such a unique thing and doesn't happen very often, that maybe it would be worth some recognition from the county board.
So we were wondering if it'd be possible to get a resolution from the county board that could be given to them at a county board meeting, recognizing them for their years of service and benefit to youth and other
Yeah,
volunteers.
I think if you talk to Scott, he could get that set up, right?
Okay, okay.
I don't know if there's going to be any room for yard signs in some locations.
I know, right? So we did think that this is like a really good positive thing that you can leave up past the beginning of November. So until the snow flies, and then we told families, please take them out and put them in your garage and then put them back out in the spring. But we thought green and white, that'll stick out amongst everybody else's red, white, and blue. So we thought, you know what? It's a great time to have that support. And also I think it goes to what you were saying about we need people to know that extension is supported within our county, and we really want people to understand that 4-H is strong in our county and it's well supported, and that we have a lot of families in 4-H, even as we're struggling in a year, even as things are not going according to plan in their school life. You know, there's people who are still stepping forward and being creative and doing great things and still excited about being in 4-H and being part of the program. So we wanted to make sure that people had that recognition, and also National 4-H Week is this week. So we wanted to make sure that people had some great recognition of that and great recognition of the program and all of the volunteers and youth that take part throughout the year that make it such a successful, great place for our young people and our adult volunteers. I think that's one of the things that we don't really talk about very much is the volunteers that are part of the program, the things that they get back. And I think Joe and Linda really reiterated that to me as I was talking to them over the past few weeks and talking to them, you know, earlier in the week, what they've gotten from the program. They've said they said, I feel like I've gotten as much from the program as I've given to the program. And I think that's a really big testament that you have volunteers who are willing to be into something for 40 years and then talk about what they've gained from the program, and then even seeing what they've seen young people accomplish because they are part of the program. And I know Linda will probably talk about this, but she was saying on Monday during the show, she said her own daughter said she came back and said, Mom, you know, the job that I have, I wouldn't have that without 4-H. She said, not because it built the skill in me to show a particular thing, but because it built the communication skills in me that I needed to be successful in that job. And I directly relate that to 4-H. And I think they've seen some very long-term impacts. When you've been a volunteer for 40 years, you see impacts in a completely different way. And I think that they have a great story to tell. And, you know, especially with being National 4-H Week, it's been great to celebrate that in some really great, unique ways. So, questions about National 4-H Week, yard signs, anything else in my report? I've been doing a lot of stuff, a lot of Zoom, I've been planning a lot of things and trying to help volunteers figure out how they're going to do things for this upcoming year and our young people. And we actually have a really cool program that's starting tomorrow. It's Explore 4-H. Mm-hmm. So we had kits that we put together. They were passed out throughout the county. I know Renee's kids are actually some of them. And they're part of our tri-county area, so Door, Kewaunee, Brown, that we'll be teaching once a week in different activities. So the first two are going to be on baking. Then we have some on STEM. Then we have some that are more in the arts. So really giving young people an opportunity that either are in 4-H or who have never been in 4-H to do some really fun educational activities, get involved in 4-H if you haven't been, or maybe get re-energized in 4-H if you were looking for that boost to re-energize. So some really fun, good things, and just some really great opportunities, and the other thing I've been doing is some great volunteer development work throughout the state and some programs for all of our volunteers throughout the state as part of that team that I'm on. So that's what's going on in 4-H world these days, and I'd love to hear from you. And like I said, if you'd like a sign, I'd love to get you one. So let me know.
Definitely.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'll speak for my daughter.
Yeah.
I'm sure they
Yeah. Debbie will be contacting you because Debbie Olson's their club leader, so she will have them at her house. She was going to, I think, go get them tomorrow night or today from Crystal. So Crystal had 10 giant boxes drop shipped to her house yesterday. So she sent me a picture like, here they are. They're all here. So we're very excited.
Do you have a lot of those signs, or
We have 500 total, so we'll probably, after we give them out to extra or to all of our families, we'll maybe have about 100. So we'll have about those extra 100 that we said if we have supporters in the county, we'd love to be able to get those out to people. Do you have some place to put them?
no? But is it possible to have some at the office here in case somebody wanted
Yeah.
to stop and pick some up?
Yep, and
Would be a
that's
good
what,
location to get them.
yeah. So we said we will have some here at the office, and I told my key leaders as long as, if they let us know, we'll make sure that there's, 10 or so here at a time that people can stop and grab. I'm sorry, Chuck, did you have something else you were going to say?
One thing, when I read through these things, one thing that I'm super impressed with is that you three must be the world's best time allocators that I've ever seen. Okay? You guys do so many things. You're covering so many different areas and stuff. I mean, I don't know how you pack that into an 8-hour day. I'm sure you're not 8-hour day workers. You're a lot more than that. But still, you got to be great time allocators. That's something I think a lot of people may not talk about. Great job.
Echo that.
Can I mention one more thing? So at the end of the month, as long as we're able to do this, we've arranged an awards drive-in ceremony for 4-H. So if there's anybody who's interested in coming to that, it's going to be at the fairgrounds, Saturday the 24th, 1 o'clock. It's going to be broadcast with Door County Daily News, but it's going to be drive-in, so as contactless as possible. So let me know if you're interested in attending that, and I will put you on the registration so that because I need to have accounted for everyone who's going to be coming, but it'll be a great opportunity, or I can get you the radio station to tune in and you can listen on the radio if you're interested. So let me know. I just wanted to highlight that because it's going to be before I'm able to see you again at our next meeting.
Saturday, October 24th.
1 p.m. Yep, you got it. Yep, and it's at the fairgrounds or it'll be broadcast. Tim's going to let me know which radio station they're going to be using. So I had a lot this month, sorry.
Anything else on educator reports?
I just wanted to throw a couple of things out. The building at the fair, or at the Dana Farm, is just about complete, so you can drive past it and take a look at it. So that will be the ice skating rink warming facility, and in there is a bathroom where people can access that from outside. And the Ransomware cabin right now is being restored by a professional, and he's from Two Rivers, so he's working on that. And that should be, he's just working on chinking. We're putting in new electricity into it. When I say we, I'm talking about Farm Technology Days. And the excavation for the ice skating rink itself will start here pretty shortly. It's been a busy year for a lot of people, so the ice skating rink got pushed a little bit further out than we'd like, but it should be ready should there be a winter park opening this year. We don't know, I guess, at this point, but that building's coming along. It's really exciting that we are getting closer to getting that completed. And just a couple of other things. Had a very busy September as well. Corn dry down, you can see here, we had to go through a couple of different hoops this year than we normally wouldn't have to do. And corn dry down usually is a very labor intensive event as it is, but to do it by myself this year was exceptionally labor intensive, and fortunately Erin did a lot of the stuff on this end from the office, so I appreciate all the work that she put in. She actually did attend both events to help, and which of course leaves our office closed, but it's, I guess, a sacrifice we need to make in order to put on our programs. And just to put in this into perspective, and I think when we talk a little bit about the effort we need to put in when we're putting on an event, I went to the farm to go, the person who lent us the chopper went to the farm, loaded up that chopper with my own equipment, with my own trailer, went back, unloaded it, got the gas for it. We used it at the event, went back to the farm, unloaded it, and then same thing with the second event where I had to go up to Door County, well, go and get the chopper, go to Door County, put on this event, go back to the farm, drop it off, then drive to the pier and drop off the samples. And I still had the people from Door County complaining, well, a couple of people, that we didn't have the samples in soon enough. So, you know, it's, if they wanted their samples back, they were very eager. But it's a quite a, it's a really humongous effort that right now is really, it was really kind of a hard year to have to put all of this on with limitations of staff. So the one thing we did do this year that was a little bit different, as you can see in that photo there, those two people are chopping corn. We put out signs that said to stay in your vehicles, and that actually worked. So and we did, as far as I know, I was not contacted about anybody contacting or contracting COVID from that event, so I'm happy to hear that. But you can see where the vehicles are really far back, and we had a couple of signs that said, just stay in your vehicles, we'll come get you, we'll call you up, and that worked really great. So that was a couple of things that came about in September. And then, yeah, so then last week was our national meeting, which should have been held in Virginia Beach, which would have been a really great place to be, but unfortunately that was turned to virtual. I was a national winner in a communication award, and that actually included it was a three-part entry, which included a radio spot, a TV spot, and I guess an electronic ad that I put together for that event. And so that was kind of nice to be recognized. It would have been fun to go, but I was able to participate in that conference virtually. So just wanted to highlight a couple of things.
Oh, Virginia Beach. Ours was in Utah. I didn't miss going, not going to Utah.
Yeah, ours was supposed to be in Boise. So-
I'll just add quickly too, because it's that time of year when we want everyone to get out and vote. This isn't in my report, but I work really closely with our FoodWise educators, and one of the programs that has now kind of been moved over under our FoodWise education programming is the Strong Bodies exercise program that I've talked about quite a bit over the past several years. And that's a program where we take that typically into different community centers, sometimes into churches that have community rooms, and we set up the room and then we exercise together. And generally, the majority of the audience, the participants are women over the age of 65 who want to still be able to get around well and prevent falls. And so we've had a partnership with the Aging Disability Resource Center over the years and other community groups to get people continuing to exercise. Well, with the pandemic, we had to stop those all across the state, and that's been hard for the individuals because it also helps prevent some loneliness that they have by not being able to get together. You know, they really look forward to that time each week that they are, you know, together exercising and socializing. And so with a partnership around the state, we have a couple educators actually out of Dunn County and Eau Claire County that are partnering up and delivering them just like we're having our meeting today. They're providing all of the participants with a link, and if you have the right, you know, technology in your home, you just need a phone or an iPad or any computer with a camera, and you can exercise together. And yesterday we had 104 participants all watching. So you saw their little box, and you could see them exercising together from across the state. And I think we had about 7 or 8 from here in Kewaunee County. So 7 or 8 out of 72 counties isn't too bad for exercising together. And I think that, you know, they're able to even kind of talk with each other. So even though they're not in person, it helps know that, someone's kind of holding them accountable to show up and be online and exercise together and stay healthy. And, we talk a lot about preventing falls, so they'll still be, willing to, get in their vehicles and walk into the voting centers to place their vote. So that's a big thing for us right now.
Anything else on educators? Thank you for the input, guys. And it's good to see you guys out of your bunkers too. Just before we get to Judy's, just wanted to bring you up to date on what happened since our last meeting in reference to our request for a halftime person for UW Extension. That was brought up at the executive committee meeting, and it was the motion to keep the funding for halftime was defeated at the executive committee level, so that is out of the budget. So that's where we are.
Wasn't there. Might have been there, I would have won. My fault. I knew of the meeting, but I was advised to stay home.
Is it possible to bring it up? I don't know how your process works. Is it possible to bring it up at county board, or will you not have enough votes to do that, or you don't do that?
It can be reintroduced again. Well, we're having another finance meeting for the budget, and then it could also be brought to the floor of the board. Or the next executive committee could be reintroduced, because we're having a meeting on the 13th of October, executive committee, so it could be brought up again.
I was just curious.
We'll try to stay on it.
Okay.
It's my intention that I would move to have it put back in the budget. I'm planning on doing that,
So you probably got 3 votes for sure.
so.
Okay, thanks. Just an update on that.
We appreciate that, and just keep us informed as you progress through all these meetings.
Yeah.
But thank you for your support.
Okay, Judy, it's all yours.
Okay, so extension updates. We heard from our dean and director yesterday that there's still an expectation that the governor is going to ask state agencies to give back funding or to cut their funding. Extension's estimating that their cut will be between 1.1 and 1.3 million. So I think the governor was looking at 250 million from state agencies. So that's kind of what they're anticipating at this point in time. They have not gotten a confirmation on that, but that's what they're thinking of. We're still in phase 1 of our COVID plan. So groups typically less than 10. There's been some opportunities for potting, but I think with the governor's executive order yesterday, that probably makes that a little bit more challenging. So we're still relying, as you've heard from the educators, pretty much on either virtual or the drive-by or drive-in sorts of events at this point in time to keep people separated from each other. So also too, I did share with Door County with their Ag and Extension Committee your interest in writing a letter at some point to Extension Administration about the need to fill their position. Manitowoc County only meets every other month, so they'll meet next week. So they did not meet the month of September. So I could let you know that. I'll let them know that as well. The Door County group was very appreciative that would be something that your group might be willing to do. So we'll keep you posted as we learn more going through all of these potential budget cuts and decisions that need to be made. The Door County group is also interested in getting together with your committee. They are fine to put that meeting off until 2021. So, and which I think right now with COVID numbers in Wisconsin being pretty high, that probably makes sense to have a combined meeting after the first of the year. So, and also too, I did talk to the supervisors that were at the September meeting in Door County, letting them know that we probably need to have Plan A and Plan B for legislative days. So Plan A would be face-to-face and Plan B would be something that's virtual. So I did get a little bit more information from them. So I think that probably in November, I'll need to start having some conversations with your group and the Door County group to figure out what the timeline's going to be. You know, if you look at April again, if that's possible for face-to-face or virtual, whatever. And we don't know what the state legislature is going to do, if they're going to plan to meet face-to-face or virtually as well. So there's lots up in the air, but it is on my
That's good.
to-do list.
That's good. I guess that's all I was really expecting. I mean, I understand that the whole world is in flux here right now. So, I mean, lots of things are going to happen. And in the next month, I guess, I'm thinking after the election, there'll be a lot of other changes, and who knows what's going to happen there. So that's good. But I think I guess I just wanted to make sure, my point was that, normally we would start looking at it now, because we would be trying to prioritize what the two counties wanted to talk about down there and put that list together. That takes a couple of months usually, when back and forth. And then, you start to put things together. So, April comes pretty quick.
It does.
And so, but I think with the way it is, we're going to have to roll with the punches.
I do think the one thing that could be initiated probably in November is for each of the counties to start to identify the priorities of
Yeah.
what are their key issues that they want to talk to state legislators about. So I think that's something we can do. It doesn't matter what the election results are, because you know what your issues are. And we need to see from both counties what the commonalities are for issues and what are specific to each of your counties. So I think that's a piece we can survey, and I need to find out how that has been done in the past. But I think we can survey the two counties, identify those issues, because no matter how the state legislature meets, you still are going to need to communicate with the state legislature about the issues that are impacting your counties. So I think
One
that
item,
piece we can move.
one item there will be those 10 bills, that package of 10 bills that had passed the assembly almost unanimously on a voice vote for the land and water, the package of 10 bills, and that the Senate never got a chance to look at. So I already know, and I've talked with Joel Kitchens about it, that, they're already working on individual bills that they will introduce next year when they get back in session, if that's what happens. But who knows if the Senate all of a sudden has an emergent, or has a session now, between now and November 3rd, or what happens after November 3rd. I mean, there's still the rest of November and December, where they could go back in and do some things. So, but I know that that's going to be one way or another. That'll be one of the issues. Another issue is going to be broadband again. And this is personal for me, I guess. I didn't think my service was that bad until I started having all of these meetings in the past 6-7 months now, that people want to have them by Zoom or other, plan a meeting, go to meeting. There's been Skype. I had one that was a Skype meeting, and I cannot participate because my bandwidth is so narrow where I live. And so, it's an important issue. And I think it's been exacerbated, or it's been, made more of us more aware of how bad it is, or what the importance is. Thank God I don't have a kid in school that's staying at my house, because they wouldn't be able to participate. It's just telephone, that's all I got. So.
And I would expect for Door County, those are going to be similar issues. I know in Door County, they have issues as well with broadband. So yes, I think those will be two common issues. I'd be surprised if they're not. But yeah, we are going to have to do some sort of probably electronic survey that goes out to a broad number of individuals in both of the counties to determine what those priorities are, or at least start to get a sense of what are the key priorities. You can't address them all probably, but what are the top ones. So yes, so I'll talk to the folks up in Door County. I think their Economic Development Corp is really involved in all of this, so I'll have a conversation with whoever in that organization's worked on this in the past, and trying to put together a timeline with at least getting priorities, and then we'll have a better sense after elections and maybe when the state legislature is going to meet and how they're going to meet some of those decisions that are going to have to be made. So that's pretty much what I know at this point.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any questions for Judy? If not, we'll move on here. Next meeting dates, I think we've already set November 4th, 8:30. And then if we look at December, it would be December 2nd at 8:30. Those are okay.
And it's nice to have the educators today. We kind of had to do that. With Ross being out, so we weren't certain when he was coming back, but then he got an email yesterday that he was back. But certainly I think it's great to have him here, but they certainly in the future, I'm assuming, can still join in via Zoom.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, fine. That'd be fine.
It is nice to get face-to-face reports from them once in a while, so instead of Zooms.
Anything else to come before the committee? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Gary, second by Chuck to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. We are adjourned at 9:12. Thank you, everyone.
Good meeting. I hope we accomplished some things. What's going on outside here?
Are we still on here? No, I'm assuming.
I'm assuming we are. All you gotta do is
Shut my...
Yeah, it was nice seeing all of you.